Welcome to Tap That, the podcast for founders and people who build companies around tech. Brought to you by Tappable.
Welcome. You are our first guest on Tap That.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
I'm Jack. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Linkup, the app that lets you meet new people today.
Nice. How? How does it let you meet new people today?
So we allow you to create Linkups, which are essentially real-life events. And then, so let's say you wanted to grab a drink down the road, you would create a link up saying, let's grab some drinks down the road. People would then discover your link up, and then they would request to join, and ultimately you can then just accept or decline, and then if you accept them, they'll be
nice
in your link up, and then you can go and meet them in real life.
Getting people social.
Exactly.
Nice. We'll talk about that more in a minute. So tell me about you. What's your history?
So I have a background in film, and then as a camera operator, lockdown happened and everything fell to shit. And I was sat indoors. I was actually 2 weeks away from my dream job in South Africa in the filming wildlife, which was like what I'd always ever dreamed for. And then lockdown happened, and I was sat inside twiddling my thumbs. So then I guess the entrepreneurial spirit came out in me when I had nothing else to do, and that's where this whole journey started.
Nice. So it's not just you in Linkup, right?
No.
So tell me about that.
Sure, yeah. So myself and Ben, two co-founders of Linkup. We met at university, and we obviously were just friends, and we hung out a lot together. We moved in together. But always both kind of chatted around entrepreneurship and all that. Always wanted to kind of start our own businesses. We both started businesses before on our own. You know, nothing kind of to the scale of what Linkup is now. But we always bouncing ideas off each other, and then we decided to one day just join forces, and now here we are today.
Nice, cool. Well, obviously I know Linkup because
Sure.
of Tappable. We built the project, but actually it was one of these rare cases when we met you two that we also thought there's something really in this, and now, 6 months down the line, we are also equity partners and coming along that journey with you. So super excited. But I just want to talk about, because we're having Founders Month at Tappable, and keen just to talk to other founders, and it's not easy, right? It's difficult being a founder. So I want to kind of talk about that, but also about how the shape of Linkup and stuff formed. So. The idea, where did it come from? How did it start?
Yeah, sure. So, truthfully, it was on a hangover.
Nice.
And myself and Ben were out the night before, and we were then at mine in London. He was visiting me when I lived in London, and he himself was on a very, very sociable level. He just wanted to go out and just meet some new people in the area. I was there like, nah, there's just no way we're going to do that. Like, how are we meant to do that? Just go and meet some random people that are like us. There's no way we can do that. And Ben's going, no, there must be a way for us to do that. Like, we started searching the App Store. There was nothing that existed. There was just no way to facilitate meeting up with people that are like you in your area. So that really got us thinking.
So, I mean, what options, I guess, literally go out and just try to find people.
Go out and walk into your nearest bar and look like a weirdo approaching people. Other than that, how else do you do it? There's no way to do it. So there's dating apps that are obviously out there to facilitate dating. So we were baffled when we saw this fundamental problem of not being able to meet people in your area. Yeah,
because there's obviously event apps and stuff like that, but I guess quite impersonal, right?
Yes.
There's this concert, there's this comedian, there's a karaoke night, but you're walking to those things and then you're now the weirdo in those places. Walking up to, hey, can we be friends?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. And is that the gap that you think Linkup sits
That's
in?
the gap, and also the whole spontaneity of it as well is the meeting now. So we're not trying to arrange for you to meet next Thursday, because that never happens.
Yep.
Life gets in the way, work gets in the way, whatever. Doesn't happen. Think about the amount of times you've meant to meet up with your friends. Oh, let's grab that beer next week. Never happens, right?
Yeah.
So we want to tap into that now culture and of spontaneously meeting there and then, and not only like just matching individuals. It's about, we have already decided we want to do this.
Yep.
Come and join.
Nice. Yeah, because I think if you're booking something in the future, it's because you know what you want to do and you know who you want to do it with, right? So you're organising it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is more for those people there and then. Like, I just want to do something now.
Yeah.
And I've probably gone on WhatsApp and asked my friends, and I've probably had a look around and no one's out.
Yeah.
So, like, conceptually great, and I understand how it fit for you, you and Ben in London, that hungover day. But how did you check that actually there is a wider opportunity? Like, how did you validate that this problem exists beyond just you two?
Well, so, we first thought of it when we wanted to go grab a beer with someone down the road. But as we started exploring it more and speaking to more people about it, everyone was relating it to their own way. Like, oh my God, I've just moved to a new city. This is going to be great for me for when I move there. And I told my mum about it. She goes, "Oh my God, I'd love to meet other dog walkers that I can go walk the dog with."
Yeah.
Like, the more we started speaking to people, the more we realised just how relatable it is to literally everyone. Like, it's mass market.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of saw the validation, and then we started looking online at certain stats. We realised that this Gen Z millennial market are the most lonely generation. So loneliness we saw was a real problem that this Linkup could be used to solve.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of started validating it, started putting the word out there, and realised that's the moment we realised that we were really onto something.
Nice. And why just meet now? Why not, I want to meet on Thursday? Like,
it just doesn't happen. Like, spontaneous nights, we all know, are the best nights.
Correct.
So if you plan to go out next Saturday with your friends, it's organised and whatever, it's just a bit of a letdown. It's not that great of a night. But if your mate come around to you one day and said, "Do you fancy going wherever tonight?" It's always a great night.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it. It's always...
So, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's actually that, the way that... So if you are booking something into the future, whether it happens or not, you're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And there's already things that exist for that. This was you two sitting there thinking, man, there's nothing for us to do other than be the weirdos out trying to find new friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, really love that. Really.
And also, like, the whole, like, there's a lot of people out there that suffer with anxiety. It's obviously a very complex issue. But if you're someone that struggles to go out and meet new people, if you're arranging that for the future, you're going to play 1 million things in your head, the reasons why you shouldn't go to that meetup or that real life event.
Yeah,
so
true.
if it's right now, you're not going to have time to even think about the reasons why you shouldn't go. You just go, and you end up enjoying yourself.
So on that anxiety point, and I have personal experiences of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why is that not in this product then? What if I'm walking into a bar, I'm thinking ahead, oh my goodness, what it'd be like. So now I just see, somebody wants to do X, Y, Z. Let's continue on the bar theme.
Yeah.
What does Linkup show me? Just where it is, and who's there?
Well, yeah. So it will show you it will say you'll have the title of the event. It will have a description. It will say exactly what you plan on doing that Linkup. It will show you all the attendees that are also attending that Linkup. So you'll be able to kind of go through it, see the type of people that are attending that Linkup, see if they're the type of people that you would get along with or vibe with. It's just it's bridging that gap between staying inside and just getting out there, meeting real people in real life.
Yeah.
And just not overthinking it. So once you get accepted, you'll be sent the location, and you click Google Maps and you get straight there.
Nice. And there's a chat and stuff like that.
Chat and everything,
so
yeah.
If I've got those nerves, I can just pop a little message in, like, where will you be in this place?
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
you can send photos and yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Great stuff. So when's it out? Like, what's the plan? How close is this thing?
It's extremely close to launch now, so we're just over a week away from launching. It's been a project for, coming up to 2 years. From the idea.
Not full development.
Not full development, no. From the idea, the initial idea, obviously took us a while to scope it out and everything, and then that's when we approached you guys, when we came with the fully fledged kind of, basically design the whole app and conceptualize everything. That took us obviously quite a few months.
Yeah.
It's been dev build, I guess, best part of a year.
Yeah.
And now launching next week.
Yeah, awesome. And like, as we said, I absolutely see the value of this and the need and all of that other stuff. So cool. Great to hear about the product. But, I want to talk more about also being a founder and a startup. And that's quite tough and challenges, but also very rewarding. But sort of what stage are you at now then? Like what's your setup then of your startup?
In terms of my founder.
Yeah, just obviously you've raised money and investors.
Right.
Like, what's the current sort of status of the startup?
Linkup. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're obviously pre-launch still. We've raised investment. So we've raised a pre-seed round, and we're now actually opening another round, but soon to close that. But so we're very much pre-launch. We're about to go out into the market. We're about to soft launch in a week's time. Test the market, see what the users are doing, react to how they're using the app, adapt to that, and whatnot. And then we're launching in the UK, but we do plan to have a kind of very targeted launch towards Manchester as well.
Nice.
It's a great city, great city to launch in.
Smart choice. And launch small, test,
launch small,
learn,
test, exactly.
Yeah.
Very sociable city. A lot of students there that will be coming in from to start university, knowing no one. It's not as vast as London. If you've got people using Linkup in South London compared to North London, they might as well be in two different cities.
Yeah.
Manchester, we genuinely do think is the perfect city to launch in.
Nice.
And then from there just scale.
Yeah, awesome. So when you started, and I hope you don't mind me talking about it, when you started Linkup, you were actually involved in another startup. And through my experience, it was always going to be difficult, and I know what it's like with startups, where lots of founders, and it is just 24 hours. How did you deal with that? What happened there?
Well, it was difficult to obviously make that decision to go full time on Linkup, but from the start of it, so we came to you and we was like, right, well, we want to do Linkup with you, but we do have another startup that we're running as well. But being myself and Ben, we thought we're the Elon Musk can run 5 companies. Why can't we run 2?
Yeah.
But you were the guys going, guys, trust us. You cannot run 2 startups. And we were going, no, we can. We very quickly realised it's not possible.
And it's the best thing for the business.
Exactly.
As well.
We realised it's not possible. We made some decisions to bring on some other guys to run our previous startup, which are bloody great, and they're going to do a great job. So we're now in a good position to move both businesses forward. Yeah,
great. And you've raised money. I mean, how easy is that? Or how difficult is that?
Raising money
now in this climate.
Raising money is a very difficult thing, especially when you're an idea on the back of a fag pack. It's incredibly difficult to raise money, but I guess we did have pretty good success in the grand scheme of things as pre-seed funding goes. We raised just shy of $500,000, and that was off the back of an idea, but obviously the team behind it and everything that comes with that as well. So when you first go into fundraising, it's obviously very daunting. The experience with each investor will be very different. Some will be totally sold and give you the money the next day. Some will want to ask every single inside leg measurement and a 5-year projection of how you're going to make money and exactly how much return they're going to get, etc., etc. Raising money is not for the light-hearted. No. But
what would you? Because I speak to a lot of people, and the conversation often goes like this: I just want to know how much this costs because I'm going to go and raise some money.
Yeah.
What do you say to them? And Michael, do you know investors who've done it before? No, but I'll just go and raise some money. What would you say to them, those people?
I mean, in terms of raising money, you need to plan very strategically about exactly how much everything's going to cost, but not only how much an app's going to cost, how much runway you're going to have for the next 6 to 12 months at least. There's always the contingency cost, and it's a much more strategic decision to plan out the next year, as opposed to just finding out how much an app costs and then raising money off the back of that. There's a lot more involved and a lot more costs, and a lot more costs that come up that you just don't even anticipate that are going to come up. They just do.
Yeah.
So you need to plan for that as well, and you need to plan for the fact that you might not raise more money for when you plan to. So you need to plan for that as well. It's the number one reason businesses fail is because they run out of money.
Yeah, and one of the main things that investors look at, right? Like when do you run out of money, and when do you need more?
When do you need more?
Make enough revenue, that stuff. Okay, so what do you look for in an investor when you're meeting someone and they say, yes, we're in. What do you look for?
Well, especially for Linkup, we've made sure they're strategic investors that are going to help us not only with obviously cash, which is great, and we won't turn that down. It's also their expertise that they can bring to the table, whether that is more of a sophisticated investor that has access to other high net worths or other venture capital firms that we can bring on down the line, or it's more from a marketing perspective of the, for example, in Linkup we've got some, some influential people in there, we've got some celebrities in there. Obviously, they're going to help when it comes to putting the product out there. So that's one route we've gone. But we've also got some very kind of credible, experienced high net worths in there as well, which will allow us to get access to more capital down the line when we need it. So we've got a great mix of investors in our cap table, which is going to really work well together. Yeah,
I think that's important. So it's the value. Like cash is one thing, but actually the value add. And it's not just, immediately the mind jumps to, well, they can, they're a celebrity, they're an influencer. Yeah. But to your point, people who can then help you raise money later, who have access to other VCs or pots of funding or more money themselves that they can raise, because most businesses need to do, startups certainly in tech need more than one fundraise.
Exactly,
really interesting. What's it like pitching to an investor? Like someone, because I know there's warm and cold intros and stuff. So like a cold intro, that first meeting, what's it like?
Now it's we're very used to it.
You enjoy it now?
I love it.
Did you enjoy it in the beginning?
Yeah, to be honest, I did. Like, it's exciting. Like, obviously to begin with, you get quite nervous, and your heart starts racing. Like, and you start fumbling on your words or whatever. Like, but then you realise, okay, well, they're just a normal person just with a lot of money, but. Now we've pitched to God knows how many investors, like probably over 300 investors, right?
Wow.
Throughout the kind of whole process of the two businesses, and sometimes it's tough. You'll think you've got the best idea in the world. No one's ever going to turn this down, and some investor will go, "Don't like it, mate. Like your idea's shit."
And that's not an objection you can overturn.
No, and it's all subjective, and you just got to, you're going to get 100 no's until you get one yes. Yeah. So you got to be resilient, and you've just got to. It's a long process as well. Like, funding doesn't happen in a matter of days or a matter of weeks. It's your average company raises a pre-seed in 6 to 9 months.
Wow. Okay. Long time, and all the time while you're still building a product, you're still trying to. If it's just launched, it's trying to maintain it. And
raising a funding round is a full-time job and a half in itself.
Yeah, and you're running a business, and you're marketing, HR, all of that, sales, everything. Yeah. Okay. What sort of questions or not what sort, but when you're speaking to you've done 300, do they all ask the same questions? Is it, or what sort of things do they?
Totally depends on the investor, right? So most investors, especially again at pre-seed, invest in the individuals behind the business. Yep. They invest in the founders. So they will, in terms of the questions they ask, what some investors will go, right, I want to know what's your 5-year runway, and when am I going to start getting my money in? How are you going to make your money down the line? Or some investors will go, love the idea, love you too, here's the check. And it's very, very different between each investor. Or one investor will go, guys, I really feel like you're missing this in your deck, so come back to me when you've adjusted X, Y, Z. And then one investor will go, no, what? You don't need that in your deck.
So even conflicting stuff.
All subjective, and then you never know what's right.
Understood, because it's a really interesting thing, and it's a very subjective thing at kind of the very early startup. You know, these guys have got to like you as founders, to your point, and they've got to think there's something in the business.
Yeah.
But they're and certainly if it is these value add investors, not the ones that can open money later, but they're value add, they've got to like the product. And I guess they have lots of feedback on, and they throw ideas of, why didn't it do this and this and this?
Yeah.
And I guess that sort of stuff's conflicting as well, different from everyone.
Yeah. I mean, most of the ideas that they come up with, we've probably already thought about anyway. Yeah. And then, but especially with you guys, it was down to you guys to say, no, guys, you're not getting this on your MVP. Yeah. They come up with all sorts of ideas, and you just kind of have to, like you guys, keep our feet in the ground and just say, look, we've got to get something out there for launch. Yeah, and protect the budget and the runway. Exactly. Right? Yeah. Absolutely. Try and protect the runway. Yeah. So in Linkup, then there's two founders. It's quite a modern thing, I think. There's always historically been kind of one, not always, but how do you find two works? Would you? I'm not suggesting you go back and do it on your own, but what do you think the differences of two versus one would be? I personally wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I definitely would advise on having a co-founder. Like, especially with one with complementary skills as well. For example, myself and Ben, we have very complementary skills which work great. Yeah. And I couldn't do it without him. He couldn't do it without me. So, and it's just all, you bounce ideas from each other like that. That's just a very good relationship. So I truly feel it's a huge importance in having a co-founder. What about the conflict then? Because it's very opinionated. You don't have any data. You don't have any analytics. Yeah. How do you resolve conflict? Conflict is inevitable. It's part of running a business. No human brain thinks the same thing or has the same opinion. You're always going to have conflict. But for me, it's how you deal with it. And you need to train yourself knowing that person's traits, knowing your own traits, and how to deal with that conflict so it doesn't obviously affect the business on a negative impact. And it's removing the emotion. Removing the emotion. It's just and egos, right? Yeah. As soon as an ego creeps into any debate or argument, it's 100%. Admittedly, I have an ego, and if someone disagrees with me, I go, "Why are you disagreeing with me, mate? I'm right." Yeah, that's not necessarily true. Like, it's about how you deal with it, and what I kind of am trying to train myself at the moment as well is it's to do with like your levels of energy and how you react to certain things and how you react to the stress levels. If I'm high under pressure and I'm stressed, I'll get frustrated quicker and easier. So if for example Ben says something that I don't agree with, I'm not going to suddenly retaliate and go, "No, you're wrong, I'm right." It's about kind of thinking of ways, not necessarily reacting, but setting certain things in place to make sure that relationship stays tight. Yeah. Because otherwise, if myself and Ben run into too much conflicts, then that really affects the business. And then it starts to breed resentment, right? And resentment just grows if left or watered. That's dealing with conflict is it's part of a leadership. Especially myself being a CEO. Not between myself and Ben. It's going to be with something's going to happen to one employee between each other, whatever. I need to know how to deal with that properly and kind of emotionally as well. Yeah. So. Yeah, really interesting. You're about to close your second funding round, open and close the second funding round. It's quite a rare position to raise once and then before launch raise again. Like, what made you decide to do that? So we decided to do that because we've just spoken about how long of a process fundraising is, right? And we knew that we were going to raise anyway, like a few months after launch. That was our initial plan. And we just decided, why don't we just try and do it now, ahead of launch, so that when we launch, we can just focus on user acquisition and getting this product out there, getting the product feedback, continuous development, and obviously it gives us the kind of confidence that we already have that money in the bank to do so. Moving into an economic downturn or moving into this instability of and who knows what's happening next. It's just the smartest move to do, right? And exactly. And to be honest, I had that in the back of my head anyway, that was what we were going to do. But then off the back of the PR off the first fundraise, we did actually get a few investors reach out to us wanting to invest.
Oh, nice.
So that's why we made the decision to open up the round now, and fortunately, it has been quite successful and is about to close before launch.
Nice, nice work.
Yeah.
So there's lots of talk. I'm talking as a founder now. There's lots of talk, and I see it all over. Work-life balance and 4-day work weeks and all that sort of stuff. What's your take, or what do you do as a founder with these massive responsibilities and a product about to launch and all that comes with all of that? The to-do list is huge, and you can't burn out, right? Because founder burnout's like a really major thing, and it's just no one is in a good place if that happens. So, what's your take on that stuff? Like, how do you make sure that you don't have those issues? Yeah,
well, I have, fallen into that like toxic trait of I will work 18-hour days every day.
Yeah, it was popular. Yeah, it was fashionable, right?
The hustle culture.
Exactly.
Like, nothing can stop me, blah, blah, blah. I have fallen into that, like, genuinely. Like, I have worked 18-hour days, think nothing's going to stop me. I don't care about seeing my friends, blah, blah, blah. That's just watching too much TikTok, basically. And so now I take obviously I still do work, very long hours every single day, but I do take a more chill approach to it. Like, I probably won't do very much work on a Saturday because I might do a couple hours, but I will go out and chill with my friends or do whatever I'm doing. So it's important for me to take those breaks, because then I'm ready and raring to go. First thing Monday morning, I'm excited for the day. So it's important to take those breaks as well. Still a bit guilty of it. For example, I can't tell you last time I watched Netflix or watched a movie.
Good, because if you did that and then use the excuse of we don't have time, it's like, how are you getting on with Game of Thrones?
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. Fuck, you got time to watch that.
Exactly. Well, no, but that's the one thing is people say I don't have time. Well, how many series of Netflix have you watched this year?
Oh, exactly. Yes, that's something we always ask.
But that is like I still feel guilty, like, if I was to watch a movie, because I should be working.
Yeah, and that's important, because like that guilt comes from nowhere but you, right?
Yeah, exactly,
so you feel guilty to yourself.
Yeah.
But you even said it, like, when you have those breaks, you come back more refreshed.
Yeah.
Like, the brain needs time to put things into its filing cabinet and store things away. And I think it's important to keep that balance.
Definitely, yeah.
So my last question, what advice would you give to someone else now who's just thinking of starting their own tech business?
Find a good tech partner, which is exactly what we did with you guys.
It's hard to ask this question, and that wasn't a loaded question at all. But it's, there's it glamorized as hustle and founders, and it's great, and tech CEOs, I'm gonna be all this, but it's not the reality. And so find a good partner. Yeah,
like there's various ways you can go about building a tech product, right? You could hire a freelancer out in wherever, and they build the back end, front end, whatever. But finding a partner such as you guys has made that process a whole lot easier, because you guys have got the expertise. You guys know exactly how to run a full team. We don't have that experience as that management experience yet. So when you're building a tech product, you need that experience. And you need people such as you and Raj to advise us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had a clue where to start.
So, thank you. Honestly, not loaded, but the answer was get experts around the table, right? Of different things to help you out.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank
you for being on Tap That.
Thanks for having me on.
Any second now, our cameras are going to cut off because of a 30-minute timer.
Shit, okay. Well, cheers.
Tap That.
Tap that.